Hi everyone, my name is Elizabeth and I am the Development Director for Pregnancy Resource Center of the Poconos. Thank you so much for tuning into our virtual banquet, our first one ever. We're very excited and we're very thankful that we even have technology where we're able to share still, even though we can't be meeting in person. So we miss you guys, but we're also so excited for this new opportunity that we have. So I just wanted to take a moment and briefly thank all of our sponsors for this virtual event. Thank you, Bernard Sons and Roofing, Cypher's Truck Parts, State Representative Rosemary Brown, Dunkin' Donuts of Honesdale, Knights of Columbus 12114, and Knights of Columbus Assembly 980, Our Lady of Victory's Holy Name Society, our Pregnancy Center board members, Dr. Robert J. Van Metter of Broadheadsville Chiropractic, RGB Custom Builders, Sailorsburg Lumber, Mike and Amy Gary, Dr. and Mrs. Joseph Conahan, Bob and Sheila Tice, Jim and Sharon Jones, and John and Marie DeRobertis. Thank you all so much for sponsoring our event, and thank you for tuning into our event as well to all of our regular supporters and donors. We're excited and we're so appreciative for your support through these trying times so that we can still help women and families in our community. Thank you. Let's talk about donating. If you would like to donate securely online, in the top left corner of your screen, there will be a donate button. If you click that, that'll bring you to our donation page. On the left side of the donation page, you can edit your donation date by clicking Start Date. Then you can select one time or recurring depending on what you would like to give. Then to the right, there is a designation drop-down. Please select 2020 Virtual Banquet from the drop-down menu. You can type in the amount that you would like to donate, and then you can scroll down and fill in your information as well as your payment information. And if you would like to cover the cost of the administration fees so that we can receive 100% of your donation, please check the box located right above the total donation amount at the bottom of the screen. Confirm that you're not a robot, and then go ahead and click the green donate button. If you would like to give by mail via pledge card, you should have received one in the mail. If you haven't, it's okay. If you go to our virtual banquet page on our website, you'll be able to print a version of that as well. So, looking at the pledge card, you have a couple different options for giving. Option 1 is a one-time gift. That means that tonight you are going to be writing a check or paying with your credit card or debit card a certain amount only once. Option 2 is a recurring gift that will be processed each month for the next 12 months. And option 3 is a special 35th anniversary donation option to honor the women and families that we have served in the last 35 years. Then if you flip that card over, on the back side of the card, please select your giving preference and fill out your personal and payment information. And go ahead and slip that in the envelope that we provided for you along with your check if you're including a check or cash. And you can go ahead and just mail that back to us and we will send you a receipt in the mail. Thank you so much for all of the support that you give us regularly. We could not, like we say all the time, we could not do this without your help. So thank you for all that you do to help us serve women and families in our community and to save lives. We are saving babies' lives, and it's because of you. So thank you. Hi everyone, my name is Elizabeth and I am the Development Director for Pregnancy Resource Center of the Poconos. Thank you so much for tuning into our virtual banquet, our first one ever. We're very excited and we're very thankful that we even have technology where we're able to share still, even though we can't be meeting in person. So we miss you guys, but we're also so excited for this new opportunity that we have. So I just wanted to take a moment and briefly thank all of our sponsors for this virtual event. Thank you Bernard Sons and Roofing, Cypher's Truck Parts, State Representative Rosemary Brown, Dunkin' Donuts of Honesdale, Knights of Columbus 12114, and Knights of Columbus Assembly 980, Our Lady of Victory's Holy Name Society, our Pregnancy Center board members, Dr. Robert J. Van Metter of Broadheadsville Chiropractic, RGB Custom Builders, Sailorsburg Lumber, Mike and Amy Gary, Dr. and Mrs. Joseph Conahan, Bob and Sheila Tice, Jim and Sharon Jones, and John and Marie DeRobertis. Thank you all so much for sponsoring our event, and thank you for tuning into our event as well to all of our regular supporters and donors. We're excited and we're so appreciative for your support through these trying times so that we can still help women and families in our community. Thank you. Let's talk about donating. If you would like to donate securely online, in the top left corner of your screen, there will be a donate button. If you click that, that'll bring you to our donation page. On the left side of the donation page, you can edit your donation date by clicking Start Date. Then you can select one time or recurring depending on what you would like to give. Then to the right, there is a designation drop-down. Please select 2020 Virtual Banquet from the drop-down menu. You can type in the amount that you would like to donate, and then you can scroll down and fill in your information as well as your payment information. And if you would like to cover the cost of the administration fees so that we can receive 100% of your donation, please check the box located right above the total donation amount at the bottom of the screen. Confirm that you're not a robot, and then go ahead and click the green donate button. If you would like to give by mail via pledge card, you should have received one in the mail. If you haven't, it's okay. If you go to our virtual banquet page on our website, you'll be able to print a version of that as well. So, looking at the pledge card, you have a couple different options for giving. Option 1 is a one-time gift. That means that tonight you are going to be writing a check or paying with your credit card or debit card a certain amount only once. Option 2 is a recurring gift that will be processed each month for the next 12 months. And option 3 is a special 35th anniversary donation option to honor the women and families that we have served in the last 35 years. Then if you flip that card over, on the back side of the card, please select your giving preference and fill out your personal and payment information. And go ahead and slip that in the envelope that we provided for you along with your check if you're including a check or cash. And you can go ahead and just mail that back to us and we will send you a receipt in the mail. Thank you so much for all of the support that you give us regularly. We could not, like we say all the time, we could not do this without your help. So thank you for all that you do to help us serve women and families in our community and to save lives. We are saving babies' lives, and it's because of you. So thank you.
Hello, Roland Warren here. It takes a village to raise a child. You've probably heard that saying repeated by lots of folks. It may even make sense to you. It rings so true. But I want to ask you to consider the implications of this saying in a different way. It's not so much that the idea it takes a village to raise a child is untrue per se, but rather this saying, as harmless as it may sound, has an element of truth to it that covers up a whole lot of ideas that are untrue or even harmful. The reality is that this saying is often used as a way to de-emphasize the importance and sovereignty of the family. You see, what it really takes to raise a child, especially when viewed through the lens of God's design, is a family. Plus, just like in medieval times, every village has a village idiot that you want to keep your kids away from. In other words, when the village has the wrong values, the family is a child's only protection from the destructive forces that are the consequences of those wrong values. Moreover, sometimes the village is a mob, and no one wants to subject their children to mob rule. Take the abortion issue as just one example where the village of today's culture tells women that the only logical and best choice they can make in an unplanned pregnancy is to have an abortion. In fact, too often women even feel forced by the village to make this choice. We see this all the time at CareNet affiliated pregnancy centers. The community that surrounds many women and men making pregnancy decisions tells them that it is merciful to end their child's life, or that it's not a life at all. But that's when the family, her husband or the father of the child or parents or the church community of believers who have life-affirming values must step into the gap to provide a loving support network that she so desperately needs. Even the most supportive village can't replicate the intimacy and support that loving parents and involved father, the baby's father, can and must give. So the next time someone says to you, it takes a village to raise a child, politely disagree and tell them that they should replace that saying with two sayings that are more true and more helpful to us and our children. It takes good families to make a village, and it takes good families to raise a child. Until next time, may God bless you daily as you serve Him faithfully.
Hello, I'm Alice Marcassani from the Pregnancy Resource Center of the Poconos. Thank you for joining us tonight for our virtual banquet. Since opening its doors 35 years ago, Pregnancy Resource Center of the Poconos has served over 4,500 women and their families. We've seen over 615 babies born and an astonishing 96 babies saved from abortion. That's 96 little boys and girls, some of whom are grown up and have families of their own. This year, because of your support, 7 babies have been saved from abortion. 7 moms chose life and received the wonderful care from our team of nurses and peer counselors. One young mother with tears in her eyes looked at me and said, "Everyone needs to see the love that's in this place." Another mother told me, "I would not be here if it weren't for you." This year's banquet is as unique as the times in which we live. But I pray your heart is inspired and stirred by Victoria's message. Together, we will stand for life for such a time as this.
God is the creator of life. A Bible says, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart." Jeremiah 1:5. For you were created, my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works is wonderful. I know that full well. My plan was not hidden from you when I was made in a secret place, and I was woven together in the depths of the earth. Your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me was written in your book, for one of them came to be. Psalm 139, 13-16. For I know the plans I have for you, cares the Lord. Plans to prosper you, for not to harm you. Plans to give you hope in the future. Jeremiah 29:11.
Hi everybody, I'm Victoria Robinson, and I was supposed to be there with you tonight in person, as we all were, but I'm not allowed out of my house, and I don't think you guys are either. So this is the next best thing. I'm coming to you from my home in Nashville, Tennessee, and I just wanted to take a few minutes to share a little bit of my heart with you. It won't be the same as being there with you in person, but hey, you know what? Thank God for technology. First, let me say thank you to Alice and to Liz for having me, for inviting me and coordinating all of this, to the Pregnancy Resource Center of the Poconos. I'm just always honored and privileged when I'm invited to speak at a pregnancy center banquet. It is probably my most favorite place to speak, to help you raise the funds that you need for the critical work that you do day in and day out. So thank you to you guys for what you're doing in the movement and how you're meeting the needs of your community. So those of you watching, get behind your pregnancy center and be there for them, pray for them, support them generously, because they're doing good work. 30 years ago, I was a single mother of two little girls. One was 9 months old and one was 3. And my husband decided he didn't want to be married anymore, and he told me he was leaving. And we lived in North Carolina, and he went as far away as possible, all the way to California. He did not support us financially. He did not support us emotionally, and it was really tough for me as a single mom. I went from staying home with my children the majority of the time to now needing to work 12 to 14 hours a day just to take care of them and feed them. And it was really hard times for me and for them as well, but we had a lot of love, and I was determined to be a great mom and to give them what they needed. Well, I met a guy at one of my 2 jobs who I fell madly in love with. He said all the right things, and I was not in a good place. I was very vulnerable at the time. My husband had left. I felt my self-esteem was shot to pieces. So when he came along, it was easy for him to say all the right words for me to just be in the palm of his hands. And I was. I really was. Well, 9 months into the relationship, we found out that I was pregnant. And when I told him about it, I didn't know how he'd react, but I was not expecting what he said, which was abortion. He had told me that we could have children later after we got married, but right now the timing wasn't good. I was already struggling as well as a single mom. So I called an abortion clinic in Charlotte, North Carolina, spoke to the woman there who convinced me that it would be very selfish of me as a mom to go through with this pregnancy when I could barely take care of the 2 little girls I already had. She actually said, "You would be a very selfish mother to do that to your children. So she convinced me there was nothing there but a blob of tissue, a clump of cells, since I was early in the pregnancy, and she secured an appointment with me on a Saturday morning. I went there on that Saturday morning and met with the same woman. Her name was Helena, and she sat with me once again, just reiterating what she had told me on the phone, how selfish I would be to go through with this pregnancy. It wasn't really anything there anyway. There wasn't a baby there. It was nothing more than a clump of tissue or a blob, of cells, that it would be no more than having a tumor removed or a tooth pulled. And when I handed her the $350 through tears, I was very emotional. I was asking her if she was sure I was doing the right thing. She took my money, grabbed my hand, and said, "Honey, you're going to be fine. Leave here and never think of this again. Remember, you're doing the right thing for you and for your little girls." As soon as she put my money away, the $350 cash, her entire demeanor changed. And she looked at me and she said, "If you change your mind when you're on the table, you don't get your money back. We don't give refunds here." I should have known then that she didn't really care about me. What she cared about was getting the cash in her hand. But I was a desperate, very vulnerable young woman, and there was no one there to talk some sense into me. My boyfriend wasn't there telling me, "Don't do this." And if he had, I know that I wouldn't have. And after the abortion was over, and I won't go into that in detail, sometimes I go into it more when I'm with you in person, but our time is more limited right now. But when I left the abortion clinic after that $350 was taken from me, and then my child was taken from me, I knew that I had made the greatest regret and the biggest mistake of my life. They took my baby that day, but they never have been able to take the memory of my baby from me. And it's been 30 plus years later. Abortion is ugly and it changes people. You are not the same person when you walk in than when you walk out. So why am I so passionate about working with pregnancy resource centers like yours? For 13 years after my abortion, I felt guilt, regret, shame. I didn't think I was allowed to grieve. I didn't think there was help available for people like me. I got involved in destructive, unhealthy relationships because I thought I deserved it. The last thing I felt I deserved was to be happy or treated well because of what I had done. So 13 years after, I met a woman named Mary Hillenberg. She was the director of the center in the town where I lived, and she had been pursuing me to become a volunteer at the local pregnancy resource center. She saw how well I did with the youth groups, and she said, "You'd be really good with these young girls." And I kept feeling like that was going to be God's punishment for me. Why does he want me to go work with these pregnancy centers? Does he want to remind me every day of what I've done? And I was at a women's conference, and I saw a woman who was confessing she'd had an abortion, and I watched her be completely healed and set free from that guilt and that shame. And I went home that night crying out to God, saying, "What about me? When are you going to let me feel the same freedom she felt?" And I felt like the Lord spoke to my heart and said, "I've been trying to." And then I thought about Mary, and I saw her face in my mind. And the next morning I called Mary and I said, "I'm ready to be a volunteer, Mary. When can I start?" And so I went to the volunteer training, got to know her better. And as I got to know her, I confessed to her that I'd had an abortion over a decade earlier. And she said, "Victoria, I knew. I've been waiting for you to tell me." And I was like, was it tattooed on my head? How did you know? And she said, "I just knew. And now I want to get you in post-abortion counseling so that God can take what the enemy meant to destroy you and turn it into good by using your story and using your life to help other men and women not choose abortion." So I went into post-abortion counseling, into a retreat that changed my life. They used the Forgiven and Set Free curriculum, and ever since, and that was 15 years ago, I have now been teaching at retreats the Forgiven and Set Free curriculum to other women who were in the same boat that I was. So pregnancy resource centers were the vehicle that God used to transform my life after abortion. And I can tell you that the work that they're doing at the pregnancy resource centers, like the one you're supporting tonight, are critical to women who are in crisis in the most vulnerable time of their life. They need a helping hand. They need someone to say, there are other options besides abortion. They need someone to say, we'll walk through this with you. We'll help you with diapers when the baby gets here, or a crib, a stroller, car seat, whatever you need. We're not going to abandon you. That's what they need. Because when women realize there's help and hope available, they won't run into abortion clinics. Because at the most vulnerable time of their life, the abortion industry, which is a multi-billion-dollar industry, is going to prey on their vulnerabilities. They know what to say to these women to convince them that that's the best option for them. So that's why pregnancy resource centers are so critical. So I am going to ask you tonight to give like you've never given before. In the times we're living in today, so many women who are finding out they're pregnant in this doomsday, end of the world mentality are going to think they have no other option but abortion. But when they hear about pregnancy resource centers like the Poconos, they're going to know there is another option and there is help for them. And I truly believe that 9 months from when this pandemic is over, there will be children born that would not have been here because of the work of the pregnancy resource centers today, yesterday, last month, and continuing on and on. So thank you, Liz. Thank you, Alice. Thank you to the Pregnancy Resource Centers of Poconos, your board, your staff. It has been a privilege and a pleasure to be with you. I pray that you guys get behind them like never before, because we have a lot of work to do. And there are men and women who are desperate for the offer that we can give them of hope and help and then healing as well. And if you've had an abortion, whether you're a man or a woman, make sure that you understand and reach out. There's help for you as well. I'll end with this. After I went through post-abortion counseling, I decided that, well, I didn't decide, the Lord did, that He wanted me to write a book called They Lied to Us, which I'm getting ready to re-release. It'll be out there on Amazon and wherever you find books. But I decided to write this book, and when it was being published, I felt like I should call the father of my aborted child to let him know. Even though I changed his name and I wasn't going to out him, I wanted him to know the book had been written and was coming out. And when I called him, we had not spoken for over 10 years. He heard my voice and he knew it was me. And he said, I've been waiting for this call for over a decade to beg you for forgiveness for what I made you do and to ask you if you can forgive me. He said, I've never gotten over it. It's haunted me all these years, and I've been in therapy for 8 years dealing with it. So men are hurting too. And in that moment, that's what I realized, was that I needed to completely forgive him. And I also needed to realize that men are hurting too. Remember, these children that have been aborted had moms and they had dads. So let's make sure that we don't forget either one of them.
When I was young, I couldn't look past myself. I was too focused on life as it evolved around me. Of course, I cared about others, but I had no real concept of a love that's beyond oneself until I became a mother. It was then I realized that a human life was a gift, a pure miracle. Fast forward many years later, Christ revealed himself to me. I soon learned through my Christian journey that every life is a gift from God. He knew each one of us before we were born, and he considers us his child. Life is so valuable, and when you're struggling and you can't see beyond yourself, it's important to know if the gift of life was given, it was purposeful, it was predestined, and it is a child of the one true King. Won't you consider supporting the Pregnancy Resource Center of the Poconos so they can help young families overcome their doubts and fears and choose the gift of life given to them.
The value of a father's interaction with his children cannot be overstated. It promotes healthy physical, emotional, social, and spiritual development. Many fathers have the desire but not the knowledge or skills to be a great dad. Being a father presents both opportunity and challenges. It's not an easy job. That's why we can all use some help. That's where the 24/7 Dad program comes in. We offer a safe, non-judgmental environment where dads can get together with other dads and learn the necessary tools and techniques to father in an effective, intentional way. So if you're anything like me and you want to be the best dad you can be, go ahead and click the link below. We'll get you connected with one of our 24/7 Dad counselors. Being a dad is one of the most important jobs that I have. It's a 24/7 job and it requires a 24/7 dad.
Of all the things that I do, if God is using me at all, if He's using me anywhere, it's right there with the Pregnancy Resource Center through that reality check program in the high schools, talking to students about things that they may have never heard truthful information about, such as sexuality, relationships, marriage, and abstinence. We get the chance through a very demonstrative program called the Reality Check Program to really disseminate the truth about those subjects. And that is truly the most valuable thing I could imagine doing with my time. I would never consider not volunteering there because I know that there is a difference between being busy and being fruitful. And being fruitful is what happens when I'm volunteering with the Pregnancy Resource Center. That reality check program, I'm telling you, thanks to you people who support us, we make it possible to bring right into the hands of those students, into their minds and into their hearts, some of the most valuable information that they may never hear anywhere else.
Welcome to the ultrasound room, one of the most important rooms we have here at the center. Every other Wednesday, we offer free ultrasounds for up to 13 weeks. 70 to 80% of women that see an ultrasound image of their developing baby choose to carry. So that's why this is such a vital service that we offer for free here at the Pregnancy Resource Center of the Poconos. We're in one of our counseling rooms. Here at the Pregnancy Resource Center of the Poconos, we believe in creating strong, stable family environments. And that's why we offer our parenting class. Every woman that walks into our center can meet with a peer counselor for up to 2.5 years and learn how to be the best parent they can be.
The choice to abort can be devastating to the women who made that choice, the walking wounded. They often are dealing with guilt, shame, anger, and depression, days, months, or even years later. If you or any woman you know is experiencing any of these after effects, I want you to know that you are not alone and that there is godly healing available. I'm Sandra Woods, a volunteer at the Pregnancy Resource Center of the Poconos and an after-abortion care facilitator. Volunteers like myself will patiently, compassionately, and confidentially guide you through the Forgiven and Set Free Bible study. This 6 to 8 session process will allow you to know that God has forgiven you, that He loves you, and that you have always been His beloved daughter. Each session, whether private or in a small group, will be facilitated by 2 volunteers. Bible study topics include how you know you need healing, the character of God, anger, depression, and acceptance, all in a confidential and safe space. I, like many of the facilitators, have experienced the after effects of abortion. We understand. I'm Sandra, I'm healed, forgiven and set free, and I want you to be also. Don't wait. Contact the Pregnancy Resource Center of the Poconos.
You know, I'm glad we got a chance to hear Victoria's testimony What a blessing that she had the strength and the courage to be able to get through some of the issues that she struggled with related to that, and that she was able to share that with us so that we can get a chance to really be witness to what her testimony has to offer us. And one thing in particular that really stands out in my mind is that, well, when you think about it, there were really a string of lies. If we connect the dots all the way back from her despair and maybe feelings of regret and all of the things that she struggled with as a result of that entire process, if we connect the dots, we see that it was really lies that perpetuated the entire tragedy, really. So when you think about it, right back from the very beginning, her boyfriend lied to her. We're going to get married and we're going to have children later. And so she was really moved to be able to make that decision from that first lie. And then when she called, based on that decision, when she called the abortion clinic, right there over the phone, the next lie, look, you would be selfish. The woman told her over the phone, you would be selfish if you were to continue with the birthing process to be able to bring that new life into this world. You would be a selfish person as a mother who's already struggling with children. That would be a selfish thing. What a lie. And they continued from there on in, just to get her money. We witnessed that through her testimony, to be able to get her money. And look at how things changed on a dime. There's no turning back, all of these lies. Well, what we do at the Pregnancy Resource Center, as I mentioned earlier, we're about telling the truth. We're right there where it matters the most, whether it's in the resource center itself, whether it's in the high schools. We're out there telling the truth. Now remember what Jesus told us in John's Gospel. The truth shall set you free. Do you see how truth is connected to freedom? It's connected to life. And when you partner with us right there where you are, and now that we've had a chance to really be able to stay home, the silver lining in this whole COVID response, I know we're tempted to just settle into our self-preservation and settle into our own cocoon in our own homes as we really quarantine ourselves. But really, when we go beyond, as I said earlier, the busy work, and we get to the fruitful work, we realize that our purpose is greater. And that when you partner with the Pregnancy Resource Center, you partner with the truth. You partner with God's mission. You partner with Jesus' words. The truth shall set you free. And that's what happens. We cannot do it without you. There's a truth machine. Yes, we actually, thanks to generous donations like yours, we actually have a truth machine in the Resource Center. We call that a sonogram. So that blob of flesh that they told Victoria lived inside of her belly, the truth is, that's life. That's life that lived in her belly. And thanks to your donations, your generosity, we're able to share the truth right through the sonogram machine, right there with vulnerable people like Victoria. At the most vulnerable moments in their lives, they're able to see the life that lives inside them. The truth. The truth is life. The truth sets people free. Partner with us. That's why your help and your contributions, that is why your help is needed. I can't tell you how many countless lives were saved, how many countless days of just regret from lies that were told. For example, that life is just a blob of tissue or flesh. We know the truth. And we have a sonogram machine, and we're in the high schools talking about the truth about relationships, about life, about marriage, and about sexuality. And your help brings us there. So I want to thank you, because I know that during these difficult times that you're having yourselves, you're able, like myself, to understand that there's a difference between busy work and fruitful work. Thank God we had the time to reflect on this during this time of quarantine, and we really, really appreciate it, and we thank you.
What a wonderful evening. I just want to thank you for joining us, and on behalf of everyone at the Pregnancy Resource Center of the Poconos, thank you. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for your time and your financial support. Together, we will stand for the sanctity of human life because God has called us for such a time as this.
If you would like to donate securely online, in the top left corner of your screen, there will be a donate button. If you click that, that'll bring you to our donation page. On the left side of the donation page, you can edit your donation date by clicking Start Date. Then you can select one-time or recurring depending on what you would like to give. Then to the right, there is a designation drop-down. Please select 2020 Virtual Banquet from the drop-down menu. You can type in the amount that you would like to donate, and then you can scroll down and fill in your information as well as your payment information. And if you would like to cover the cost of the administration fees so that we can receive 100% of your donation, please check the box located right above the total donation amount at the bottom of the screen. Confirm that you're not a robot, and then go ahead and click the green donate button. Thank you so much for all of the support that you give us regularly. We could not, like we say all the time, we could not do this without your help. So thank you for all that you do to help us serve women and families in our community and to save lives. We are saving babies' lives, and it's because of you. So thank you.